Do you mind helping me set up this?
Yes.
So that, the fact that is, I have no idea. So I think
Is
he has,
this an Android?
yeah, no, it's not. He has a new phone, the new type of phone.
This needs to be. I'm just gonna set this up and then.
It's just her like for her and a couple other people. She's trying to
It seems like a good to go, right?
Yeah.
I think I talked to
Everyone here.
I was like, guys, we need to be, you know?
Please do something. Yeah. This one looks so smooth. Just do that.
I guess because that one's pretty close already, right?
This is a live. Live or on what?
It is
X?
fine, but yeah, but no one's right?
Yeah, I don't.
Like 40.
yeah.
It's like, don't worry about it.
Guys go away around their people. I'm always terrified when I get near the end, like ask just like terrified action that I haven't had a real
No, this is Jeremy's.
Oh, this is Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy's phone is streaming to AGI house.
Do you want it to be like 0.5? There's like take more.
Yeah.
Because this is pretty super.
Yeah, do whatever. Do you have any opinions on video?
0.5 or 1?
This is much better
Right?
because it shows the whole.
It's showing the whole
But one, this gets cut out, and then whoever's sitting over here, their legs will be cut out, right? And the video also is now.
Not cut off, yeah.
So 0.5 much better, shows the whole office. I suggest we use 0.5 so that we can capture the whole office space and maybe some of the audience over here. One just cuts out everyone's legs over here.
Oh, no, not you. Sorry. Yeah. No, I was just telling her for the rest of the event. Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna be visible in the entire video. Yeah, I mean, you want me to go and sit? You want me to? Okay, you can go.
This works too.
Yeah, that's.
I think this is good.
It was super fun.
It's AI slide creation. You have 7 months.
The other one, like, integrated, it wasn't exactly like, it was, it's like an hour visit before Salesforce. Just didn't really took. So it is,
Yeah, I think it's just,
and like, but, it's good. Why are you doing this?
yeah, but I think like,
I feel like we may not need these, but they're always a good idea. Cool. Alright. I think we'll get started. Thank you all for being here. Quick introduction. My name is Denise Omier. I lead partnerships here at AGI Inc. Really excited to have everyone here today. Tech Week has been quite busy, so really excited that everyone found our event today. This is our first event at the AGI office. Oops, is that working? So, we just moved into this office, and I think we're going to stay here because we can have friends over, like you guys. So this is exciting. Random show for today. Div will start by giving an overview of AGI and what we're doing. Some of you may know who AGI is or what we do, but today we'll give you a little glimpse of some things that we're building and how we're thinking about the space. And then we'll follow that with a panel with Gwen from Genspark, Jeremy who will be moderating it, and Div right after that. It will be about 45 minutes of panel, and then we'll pass it over to the audience, so think about your questions. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Really appreciate y'all all being here and helping us warm up our office. Thank you. With that, I'll pass it over to Div.
Cool. That's it. Everyone hear me?
Yes.
Right. Cool. Excited to see everyone here. Thanks for coming. I know it's another busy week for Netflix, so yeah. So at AGI Inc., we're really excited to think about like what does everyday AGI look like? Like how can like you have something that's like a super intelligence in your pocket, and how can this be used in your daily life? Our goal is to build trustworthy and reliable AGI that can be used in every life. The way we are doing this is we're building agents that can run on any device. They're personalized, they're proactive, and they're secure. We have been very active in the community, so we have been doing like courses with Android. We got like the first course on browser AI agents. This has been running a lot of Twitter previously. We got like 10,000 like enrollments in the class was crazy. And we also partnered with Visa to enable secure payments for agents. So how can agents go and make purchases on your data? We think this is very, very important because if you trust the agent and if the agent has access to your money, to your bank account, and it's doing things for you on that, which seems to be the nature of e-commerce. We really need to figure out what this will look like. Like why will I trust an agent with money? And how do I make sure it doesn't do something wrong? And so we really want to solve the problem on like what does security and things look like, and how can we enable that? And so this is like kind of like the core case we're doing. What we'll be doing is like you can come to the section later, after the talk, and you can like see some of our products. So we actually have an agent that can control an Android phone locally, or we can also control the whole operating system on whether that's Linux, Mac, Windows. And so you can like see some of the things we're doing. And we also have like a early access app that you know and play with. So coming back, on the like as a company, AGI, we are in applied research hub. So we're doing a lot of stuff on like how do people really evaluate this. And what we've been doing here is we're building one unified solution for app control and web control. So our agents can control any operating system, any device. For consumers, this means we have something that can run on a device, so it's fully personalized, secure, and do things for you. No screenshots or anything that gets sent to a remote server. This is great. Same is true for like enterprise. So this case can on-prem for any enterprise client. You don't have to worry about any of your data getting stolen. If this is running like doing stuff for you, you don't have to worry about any private data or any data from your employees. Again, if you're getting this separated. We're currently number one on a lot of levels. So first of all, our AGI Zero agent, which we are reviewing right now, is the leader on Android World. So Android World is a leading benchmark for controlling agents on Android. And we have to reach the accuracy of 97%, which surpasses the previous state of our current benchmarks. We are also number one on OS World. This is like the leading benchmark for controlling operating systems. Here also we are able to reach close to like 80% accuracy, much better than like other players out there. And similarly for like controlling browsers on the web, we are able to celebrate performance compared to like entropy function they use or OpenAI. And then we have been doing a lot of proprietary stuff on like reinforcement learning, how you make sure the sage can reason, can learn, right from that and that. And what we have done is we built like a lot of expertise around how do you do RL and like clean agent for extreme library. We have an in-house pipeline of like simulators where we can simulate different websites, different applications. We are train on that. That allows us to make sure that agents are working all the time, we don't make mistakes, and they become better and better. We also like 100,000 hours of like human computer control data, where we have expert humans show like this is how we can do different workflows. And we have been innovating a lot on architectures, like we release like work after called ADQ on how can you do RL with agents, and then we've been coming with like new novel algorithms. So as a company, we are very innovative, and we really want to solve the collaborative problems right now. An app or a website changes the design, our agents will keep up so they won't break. And this is very important because like suppose we are turning our agents for United, and one day then we decide like let's just go and change the UI, make it totally different. You don't want the agent to break. Especially like it's like now we are telling you that for like cooking class, you don't want to go and like start doing something random. So like making sure our agents are adapting to any interface, any UI automatically. That's very important. And everyone here can get. And I will like show some more demos on like how our partners there in that section to get that access. So in this case, what's happening is that we have asked the agent to go to Amazon and enter both the creative app to my account. And it's navigating the browser is running locally on our phone, and it's going to go and take all the actions. So it's navigating to the screen, and we can find the book. Put it in on. Same here, we can control communication on different operating systems. So here, our agent can control the management, and it's able to go and do things like spreadsheets, and other data applications. So again, our goal is to make this extremely general-purpose and extremely reliable. And this can be used for any workload that you might have in the future. Cool. So this is kind of a high level what we are doing here. And we'll be starting the demo. More about like where we're going next, by the service company, and what we're doing.
Okay, thank you so much, Sid. With that, I will invite Gwen and Jeremy up on stage. And Gwen up there.
Thank you. First and foremost, those are some serious achievements. Books like AGI has achieved first place both on Westworld and on Android. Let's a round of applause for you. So with us, we have David Wilson, Gwen from Genspark. Go ahead, raise your hands. Who here has heard of Genspark or knows about Genspark? Okay, fantastic. So we have a crowd, hopefully of users, appreciators. Join me with both of you. My name is Jeremy. I create AGI houses. So if you've ever been to Hillsborough or to the mansion, the top of Twin Peaks, we create these epic AI experiences where we like the inventor of AI algorithms. People like Robin Rombach who invented Stable Diffusion, took Stable Diffusion at Cloud. So I have a breadth of experience with products like these. And so trust me when I say that Genspark has a shipping culture unlike anything I've ever seen in Silicon Valley, and that AGI reliably sits at the top of some of the most important agentic benchmarks that exist. So join me with both of you. First and foremost, I'd love to hear an intro from Gwen. We've heard from Div, we know what achievements they have, but tell us a little bit about why you are one of the most important people we can be talking to.
Definitely. Thank you, Jeremy. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I'm co-founder and CEO at Genspark, and Genspark is the Palo Alto-based technology company with agents for knowledge workers. What that means is, in the past, we human beings have to craft word by word, pixel by pixel, through Microsoft 365, Google Suite, Slack, Notion, Salesforce, you name it. You essentially just command our super agents, and the agent will run it out and then get 60, 70, 80, 90% of the work done for you. And you just tell the agent what you like, what you don't, and do some final touch, focus on high value, high leverage stuff yourself. Voila, you get the production level work. So that's also how we see the future of work is going to be. Essentially, with the power of AI, obviously, later what AGI is transforming how commerce can be done, how travel can be done, and we're trying to essentially leverage the power of AI to give everybody a lot more freedom when it comes to how work is done, instead of with sweat on our heads, just typing nonstop. We want everybody to have a lot more time, and yeah, that's kind of just the high level. I guess from a company profile perspective, I can also quickly share. Since launch in the beginning of April this year of our first version Super Agent Suite, we actually just announced this last week. We broke $50 million of ARR as of last week, so about 5 months. Clearly, if you build something that people want, it could go really nicely for you. So yeah.
Congratulations. I have a question about that. So one conversation I had with Div a year and a half ago was, agents, everyone's talking about that, everyone wants the big deal. But who's actually making money on any of this? Genspark announcing tens of millions of dollars in revenue. And so many companies would love to be able to say that, but cannot. What, first of all, culturally speaking, made you feel like the right thing to do was to loudly announce the amount of money that you were making because of the psychological impact that that had on Twitter and people's conception of what was possible with agents was dramatic. So walk me through that decision making around the market of the product saying, these numbers are insane and we're going to publicize it.
Yeah, well, look, I'd love to hear what it has to say about that as well, but internally, we just made this decision to build it public. Our view is this, with AI, things are happening so fast. You can't really, the things that used to happen like in months, years in the past, now it's just happening in weeks. There's no reason to hide like what you're doing. We're riding a wave of all of these amazing AI breakthroughs. So we wanted to share, what's happening. Selfishly, yes, if we do something well, obviously we get more attention. Attention is all you need, right? Like, who doesn't want that? So, that's that. But also, we're seeing disruptors getting disrupted all the time, right? Like back in 22, when it comes to code generation, everybody was talking about Copilot, and then it's Windsurf and Cursor, and now everybody's into Quad Code. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? You gotta just, YOLO it a little bit.
Jim, how do you feel about the build in public pieces? I know the origins of your first company, Multion, was a viral post where you would purchase, I think, a hamburger online. Tell us about it.
Sure. Also, many public points also able to keep momentum and motivate everyone. It's like as if you are building public, people see what you're doing, like people that affects the community. And like once you have a community, it's also easier and easier to like become like accepted. Building a startup is like a snowball effect. It's like a snowball that starts and you eventually want to become like a balloon in a sense. And it grows and grows and grows like as soon as possible. And if you're building public, it's much easier for everyone to know what's happening. And so if you have like momentum, you're bringing back things, people love your products. I think it just creates like things like to happen. And I would say like, it's a different philosophies. You obviously want to keep open doing ideas. But if you but if you get the right thing and you execute and it makes a lot of sense.
I just wanted to say, I love to say, put the pressure on for your own people. Build in public. Yes.
I mean, there's another question. So your people at Genspark seem to be insanely productive. What do you have going on?
Well, the secret sauce is really AI, not so much as, it's a combination, right? So 80% of our code is written by AI. So we're a very flat board. So I'm the only guy who doesn't code on the team. Everybody else, every 1 or 2 people would lead a project. And the reason we've been on speed to release a new product every week is all of our folks are essentially full stack and capable of architecting technologies themselves. So we feel very comfortable once the foundation tech is in place, just run with it, go build and release new things. That's how you kind of actually survive these days, in my view.
Okay, so when you say everyone is full stack, you mean everyone is a back-end web developer, a front-end web developer, ML engineer, data engineer, they all have all the skills.
Yeah, well, look, I'm curious about how AGI is organizing their team as well. But for us, look, naturally people would have strength in areas that they need to learn more. But with AI these days, if you're really a good kind of back-end engineer, if you need to fix a button, you don't have to bother anyone, right? Like just ask AI to fix it. A lot of little things, AI can really come in handy to be an extension of ourselves. That's kind of how I would look at it.
I see. And then I presume you have lots of ownership. So we said 1 or 2 people lead the project. And so they're just responsible for nothing but shipping it, and that makes it efficient.
Sorry, say
So you said you have 1 or 2 people lead every project. That's intended structure. There are how many people are on these teams? If they're small, possibly you can move fast.
Yes, absolutely. So we're recorded, so I won't say there's this friend working for this gigantic $1 trillion company, and she asked me, okay, why are you guys releasing products so fast? Like, how many people do you have? Like 30. And I asked, how about you guys? 10,000. Okay, how much time do you spend on last performance review? Months. Yeah, that makes a difference. What do you think, Vic?
Okay, I think that's the future of AI. I think you don't need to hire human. What happens is organization is big because for the particular job function, a single person is just doing anything. So suppose it's
Bluetooth disconnected.
so
Bluetooth connected.
It's almost playing with this one.
yeah. So say one example is say you take some job functions like hardware computing, it could be you are just doing logistics coordination, and if you're a big company like Amazon or Google, there's an exponential effort is you hire people staff or people who speak logistics, there's also going on. But what happens is AI is like small things that humans have done, AI is actually complementary and very good at it. So and that means a single person can now just use AI and basically do the job function that help humans to do. And so that's something very, very interesting. So what's going to happen is you're going to have this super efficient teams where we just do higher specialists. So you have a group of people with different hobbies, and each person can go and experience doing. And then you keep teams as small as possible. I think that seems to be the future of how organizations are going to evolve. Organizations will be very clean, very flat, and they can execute very fast.
I'm curious, you've got all of these insane benchmark results. What, from a people perspective, went into winning on Android
connected.
Sure. Also, we spend a lot of dedicated time and effort to make sure our agents are working. All of that is like how do we make sure we are making the right paths. That's across training, studying, reinforcement learning, how to make the right set of data. And then like how can we create like almost like exponential moment. Like these things will keep building, becoming better and better. So the effort we're putting will scale over time. And that has allowed us to kind of like now be in the state where we are able to separate a lot of leaderboards. Our hope is like we'll be able to like maybe reach close to 10% accuracy, that's a little more. Because we are trying to reach this realm where AI is becoming self-improving. Like now, like especially with like if you're doing reinforcement learning, you have reward functions or some sort of like closed loop like metric that you can simply keep optimizing on. And that means like the AI will become better and better. And then someone just completely saturate like the benchmark or function like care about. And I think that is going to make customer really good because once you saturate and like then you can just it becomes like a hard part to configure.
Reasonable. Yeah, I'm sure all of your competitors are scared. So I am curious. So here we are talking about the future of work. Both of your companies seem poised to automate a huge fraction of the economy. There's always nobody in this room whose job is not in danger from this tool. I'm curious to know, how do you conceive of the product direction? Do you intentionally target the next AI that will take out as many jobs as possible, or do you have different products?
All right. We're not an evil company. No, look, let me ask you a question. Who does their laundry by hand today? Seriously?
By hand or by?
By hand.
Oh, no.
Right? No. So, yeah, like, no, so but if you lived like 500 years ago, unless you were a feudal lord, you have to do it by hand, right? But today we don't say, oh, damn, the laundry machines took over, some laundry people, right? The way we look at civilization and, how we make progress is, yes, technologies are good, and if they're used for the, right reasons, we get more freedom. Same goes with AI. Yes, AI is like super powerful, and we've seen a lot of things that are just astonishingly good, right? Intelligent. So, but the way we look at it is, look, if we take advantage of this and do it the right way, let agents, run around. It's like having a fleet of Goldman Sachs analysts in your pocket, right? Go do that spreadsheet for me. Go build that presentation for me. Go write that document for me. I don't write my emails anymore, right? I did write one back there, but normally I would just ask Genspark, scan through my inbox, and tell me what's going on. Draft the, responses for first, the top 5 urgencies and importance. I'll proofread it. We still need to take responsibility as human beings. I'll proofread it, but then just boom, send. Why? Because that gives me so much more freedom. I could choose to do more and accomplish more, but I could also just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to have a 3-day work week. Why working? Why not? That's all up to us, right? So why we work on what we work on, and the way how we look at the future of work and the future of the world is we human beings, we're going to have a lot more freedom. That's what we want to be, and that's what we think AI will bring to us.
Like I'll say, we do the same thing. We unleash the human potential. There's this also like kind of famous saying from the data economy: humans were not made to do work. It's kind of sort of like the industrial revolution thing. When the industrial revolution happened, like people basically they go to work in factories and just spend all your 12 hours a day just like working as assembling parts for machines, and that was not even intelligent work. That was like heavy work. And what happens with the rise of computers and automations? A lot of this labor got automated, and then now humans are not making automate more like intelligent labor, like the digital labor. And so now we're going to see like this is also we are reaching this level of technology where like humans don't have to be forced to do this. So if you think about it, the reason humans do work is because we don't have a partner effect. Like that's the only organism that we move around and do useful things that we have access to are humans and see to be part. And if now we can actually operate that, humans really need to do more care. And we're really not there.
Just to add on to what they said, who enjoys grocery shopping? Who enjoys it? And who enjoys booking travels, hotels, and figuring out the tickets, flights? I don't. I'd rather have a fleet of agents running around than that. That's what you do, right? Yeah. And for us, yeah. I mean, we want everybody to work like Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan Chase, right? I don't see Jamie typing hard, booking his own hotel rooms, and then, you know, just getting his own restaurants or whatever, groceries. Or, oh, let me write this memo. He doesn't do that. Today, he has people running around doing that for him, right? We want everybody to have that. And what could give us that democratization of productivity, production, and give us freedom? That's all these amazing AI agents that we're building. And probably in the audience, I would imagine, how many founders do we have? Yes! Build something that would free all of us from those mundane work. Yeah.
Phenomenal. So and, you know, kind of compelled to say, from the perspective of an investor, Genspark is everything wrong. You people have no focus. You launch anything tomorrow just because you thought it was a good idea. And it's kind of crazy. There's this thesis that you have that you're not wrong. Silicon Valley is wrong. You don't really know how product market fit or focus should work. So tell us, you know, how exactly do you justify yourselves?
Well, look, Jeremy's grilling me. Look, what I meant by that, when I told Jeremy that we believe the conventional Silicon Valley wisdom that you should just focus on one thing and one thing only at a time is no longer valid. Behind that, what we're really seeing is, I mean, we talk about disruptors getting disrupted all the time, now a lot quicker, right? So our view is, on the one hand, there are two things underneath, right? One is, if you truly just focus on one very specific thing, our view is that the risk of getting disrupted in a very short time is really high today. So many brilliant founders and people and investors, right? Even in this room, trying to kind of come up with new ways of doing things. It's way from, it's far from settling, right? Like, even the large language models, where everybody's trying to push out new models, right? You guys probably saw that meme on Twitter, like, oh, we have the world's best model, and everybody's chasing that. So, we don't want to get disrupted. So, how do you do that? You disrupt yourself. Simple. You just come up with ways of, okay, this is how things are being done today. No. There's no reason we should be doing that. We should come up with better ways of doing it, right? Well, that's leveraging the most, greatest and latest solar models. That's kind of the thinking. Now, on the other hand, also, I'd say the cost of building something new today is much lower, right? 80% of our code is written by AI. That is one big part of the reason we could push, new products so quick. And that is available for everybody. I mean, I can't let people, we use cloud code internally. Yes, yeah, everybody has access to it. So, when that happens, I mean, you have the option to disrupt yourself and to disrupt the entire market. You don't have to limit yourself. And old times we're like, oh no, you don't let this get distracted. Startups are, very limited resources. You don't want to kind of burden yourself with so many things. Not anymore. You have that power to do a lot of things, to actually make bets in portfolio. Just like, investors, right?
Yeah, no, but one thing I kind of love about this frame you have is there used to be an embarrassment about being a rapper. People kind of look down on it and so on. But it seems like if you embrace the API lifestyle, suddenly you can burst products into existence. So like you're at a hackathon and 10 hours from idea to first draft, to 2 days from first draft to ships. And that can just be a different kind of engineering lifestyle. You can throw your code base away, right? And you want to ship that. Who cares?
Well, I would say we do want to make sure, when you do that, I can share with everybody here that our technology is built on 3 layers. In the bottom layer, we work with 30 plus solar models, and constantly when new models are released, we switch them on. And the secret sauce there is a model orchestration layer we built. So these models are good at different things, right? OpenAI models are better at reasoning, Cloud models are better at coding, Google models are better at artistic stuff. No one uses Cloud code to build an image, right? And then we have plenty of open source models to balance the cost and efficiency. So with that model orchestration layer, you actually have the option to blend them in, like building one, slide deck. You're calling OpenAI models possibly to tell the story, and then Cloud models to write HTML to render the slides, and then Google models to create images, and maybe open source models to write a Python a Jupyter notebook to kind of plot some of the charts, right? So that's the bottom layer. The second layer is in-house tools that we build, 80 plus in-house tools, like you parse the document, you crawl the web, you process the information, do all of these things, and then you context the engineering around them. And then third layer is really a private database layer where we, pay to get access to PitchBook, Crunchbase, and maybe in the future Bloomberg. So that is a foundation. With that foundation, we can do so many different things, right? AI docs, AI sheets. Underneath, it's all the same. On the surface, it's like, yeah, of course, sky's the limit. We've only executed like 10% of our roadmap. But quality matters. We are able to do that because we have some amazing founders and funding. I'm the only guy who doesn't code. You guys remember. One of our co-founders, he was a co-founder of PyTorch. He scaled Facebook Messenger over 12 years from 0 to billions of users. Right? He knows how to build scalable kind of systems. Our CEO Eric, he was early Microsoft, and our CTO Casey, he was early at Google. So they all see how the internet works and how the internet works, and they've gotten so much expertise in just understanding how the web works and so on and so forth. All of those things was important. Technology chops to essentially make sure it does scale, and product taste, right? People talk about product taste plus technical chops, and then you just, right, like sky's the limit. Yeah. What do you think?
That's incredible. Yeah. What is your secret sauce?
Let's see. Agents. So let's see. So one is like, I think that is going to be like AI and automation is going to replace a lot of labor. So things are very automatically. What you write is like how, like as Dan mentioned, how can AI be used to do your own work in a sense within an organization? Because what happens is like in an organization there's a lot of low leverage activities. A lot of low leverage activities are just like time size. And so if we can like remove that, like that divide solve because it's a very highlighted point where like okay. And especially you want to see if you can also enable other organizations to be able to do this. Where like how can you move along this like low leverage activities and have AI automate that as much as possible. You feel like that by itself is like a secret sauce, like a very, very huge. I think like a lot of like this thing that you are really clear that creates a lot of like autonomy. And we have seen that it's happening in the coding space, for example. There's a lot of like going things in code, like documentation or cleaning things or whatever like you're doing. A lot of that is not very automated. And so I think the same thing will apply more generally towards like human life and human work. And being able to do that really well and having like a very well followed behavior, I think by itself, we think is going to be like permanent.
Actually, I'm actually curious, how do you guys do eval? Because there's a few things I can share later, but how do you guys do that? How do you guys do eval?
Well, that's our secret sauce.
I know, that's why I'm asking. I'll share what you can, please.
I think it's trying to be rigorous. The one thing is like you want your training distribution to be the same as your testing distribution. Which means like you want as much in the real world as possible. And so we try to like see like how we actually evaluate the real data and real people and like improve key recording. We can't distribute everything. What happens is distribution data or whatever you're doing will not be exactly the same as what the users will be doing. And that can create like a gap. And we try to minimize the gap as possible. So that especially now we're doing stuff like RL and get the right metrics. We just tell the algorithm like go and maximize the user attention, or to go and improve NPS ratings, and just like the whole job is just to make sure that happens.
Well, we should take a moment to appreciate if your company replicated the internet and you made your own version of every major website. So talk about that. How did you come up with that idea? Because another company had done that. Their evals might look as good as yours.
Sure. So one thing we did called real match, where we built a mini map which has hyperfidelity documents on the top 10 websites on the internet. So we have clones of DoorDash, Airbnb, Amazon, and so on. And our idea has been like, can we use this as a way to test agents and like evaluate them at scale? and without getting blocked. Because what happens is when you're like running your agent on actual websites like Overtable or whatever, like people will block you. You can't run time with agents and like scale them and start doing training, for example. But if you have our own mock replicas, then we can do whatever we want. We learn okay, how these things work, model scaling laws, what not work. We learn a lot of experiments. And the same thing, and then we like generalize outside. And now we actually have a lot of like big labs who are like coming to us and asking us like, can we build custom simulators and environments for them? And investment like very helpful for us because like smoothly fast and run experiments.
Do you think that thesis is general? So, yeah, I want to build the next great AI agent. What I should do is build my own simulation environment, and then in that, run it at scale without being afraid of being bought, and train models in that simulation. And then, as you get first in the world on Android, on OS.
Possibly, right? Because the resources, like I was like, it's hard to be remote between many things. And if building simulators is not your core part of the business, I want to recommend doing it.
I mean, do you sell the simulation environment to other companies? You do? Yeah, yeah. Damn. Don't build it. I don't know how to build the internet. That sounds like really hard. How did you guys do it? You just replicated DoorDash? Like, tell us more.
Again, it's part of the secret sauce. So I'm saying.
Come on, man.
But also you just regulate. It's like what you've seen is like business that kind of now people can back code everything. But if you try to back code like a simulator that's like one back code DoorDash, it probably won't work because there's like so many minute things.
Yeah.
That you figure out. You also have to create a reward function that say actually go and do the right thing, that find with like coffee or something from Starbucks with all the right additions and they actually check out, they put the right address. And so we spend a lot of time actually in those functionalities. Now we are actually very good, so we have like a programmatic way to build any reward function. So we can actually have humans do things on an actual DoorDash, and they're able to record like what they're doing, and they're able to like use that as a way to like create new data and like tasks in an environment. And so the talking like a lot of that is based on like how do we make this like replicable and like scale it automatically without like as much without needing too much interaction.
Seems like there's something there, but I still don't know how to do it.
But you come to us speaking now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it does work. We need to have some humans create some slide presentations and then all good. Help us make a simulation environment. I think create every task that every human's ever done and create slide presentations to build your own.
Yeah, I mean, I'll share with everybody our secret sauce. It is eval, like as Dave said. Like, just to touch on, like, eval is important because people say eval is broken. There are reasons for that, right? Like, my understanding for like companies like OpenAI and Anthropic, their evaluation benchmarks are mostly geared toward intelligence. I personally don't remember doing any Olympia level math problems in my last 10 years of career at all. So our eval is actually geared towards the quality of the outcome. So it comes down to the balance between, do I spend more time going back and forth with the AI, or do I just get this one shot and I'm ready to go? So we care about quality, we care about reliability and accuracy. That's how we do eval. So that is indeed the secret sauce. Like for everybody, for whatever mission you're on, I'd say build your own eval. That's kind of the
So you brought up reliability. I think one of the big questions people had around building agents that work is, how do I get to 99% reliability? Did on your presentation, you had 99.8% some network, presumably optimized well for reliability. That puts you in a different category class. It means someone can use you and expect it to work. And the experience of something that's 80% reliable versus 99.8 is a product you pay for versus not. How do you guys achieve the levels of reliability required to get your customers to sign up?
So that's a good question. So I was saying the level is in the figure, so it's like how much effort in intensity they're putting in optimizing the systems. One thing we're doing is like, as I mentioned, we have the simulators where we do a lot of reinforcement learning that allows us to automatically make the agents better and better. And so the more we can train them, the more we can customize, the better the agent get. So So one that we are making is like can you have specialized agents in the future? Where can we, instead of just like one general agent trying to do everything, can you have like more specialized agents for different purposes? So in business, it's like this is what workable purpose. It's like maybe like I just want to have an agent of my GM or like do hiring. And I don't want you to do like really know how to do like how to run DoorDash and you can run on LinkedIn as big enough. And so it's like how do we make sure these agents can like become more customized without like needing like a big size model. So can you have like small form models over time that are like very special different websites. And so there's like those kind of vector thinking which allows us to be very, very reliable on different interfaces without needing to like now think about like okay, can this agent work on Android as well as Windows altogether?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it comes down to what we just talked about. It's essentially kind of a lot of trial and error. If something works, if something doesn't work, you have to get to that point and then just see it. And yeah, it's working.
So one thing I'm curious to hear about from both is the way in which your company's perspective differs from every other company. So we started with that. What does Genspark believe as a company, as a way of acting, that very few or no other companies that are working on what you're working on?
I mean, we focus on the future of work, and we believe the future is now. What we have found that a lot of people are, where we're different from a lot of folks out there is that, in the past, we're more used to kind of a tool-centric kind of a paradigm. There's specific set of tools, CRMs, ERPs, they all do certain particular things, and that's just how we think about things in general, right? We learn about how these tools work, and now we work on them, and now we produce work. But with, the generative AI breakthroughs that we're seeing these days, we just see that the boundaries among these different things are no longer, they're blurred, right? Why do we do work? Because we want to achieve business goals. We want to accomplish business results. Work is means to an end. It's not the end. Yes, the journey is the prize, yes, but we work to achieve, we work to get results. So when it comes to how human beings work, besides the perspective that we're mostly natural, when it comes to we say things, we see things, and we just collaborate. We're not born to type on a computer, right? Besides that perspective, it's also that not necessarily all the pathways that we had to go through in the past to produce certain work or get certain business results are still the same. I'll give you one example. I talked to this power user of Genspark, 6th generation Texan, based in Dallas, Texas, solo consultant. What he does is he would work with restaurants and help them to secure bank loans, and then he gets paid. In the past, he would hire people to count traffic at the door of the restaurant and just understand the market dynamics. And then he would, hire a junior associate to build some, spreadsheet financial models. And then he would craft this presentation. And then at last, he would go into the bank meetings with his clients, hoping that he would be able to help the client to secure bank loans. $1 million, $2 million, he gets paid for a fee. Now, all of these work in that process. Those are means to an end, right? The end is bank loan. He's not having fun just building presentations or financial models, right? So the way he works today, whenever there's a new client, and he gets a lot more clients, taking care of it with Genspark, right? He would just, okay, Genspark, research this client, research this market, research everything, build me a report. And then he would go back and forth with the client. Are we on the right track? After that, Genspark, build me a break-even analysis with this bank loan. Tell me how long it will take for us to get it paid back, and what is the right interest rate for us to negotiate for it, all that. Right? He doesn't have to hire someone. If everything checks out, he just built me a presentation. And then he still walks in the meeting together with his client, secure the bank loan. It's just all that process in the middle. He is a movie director now, no longer an actor. Before he was both, right? So, yeah.
Wow. You did the same question. Was AGI believe that no other company believed? A what does AGI think? What is your perspective on how to build your company, on how to build products that's unique, it's different from every other company?
Sure. Let's see. So a lot of that, as was mentioned in my talk, is like how do you have AI that's proactive? So it's like right now, if you look at most apps, you still have to go like with ChatGPT. Now they're trying some new things with news feeds and so on, but you still have to like, go and curate like okay, go and find this information or do this for me. One of the things like in the future can be invert the paradigm. It can be more like that agent or that AI didn't know here. Like yeah, these are like things that are out of point for you. These are things that are happening in your day. And can be like, how can I make your life better? Can I go and do this for you? Can I help you book your travel? That's going for a conference. Can I help you book this dinner reservation with a part time? And like you see like go and be this like proactive worker that's like really going on and making your life as best as possible. And like there's this concept of being like almost like you can become superhuman if you were always like the most present, focused, and like optimism for what we're doing right now. But like there's so many small distractions, and you want to be really good at it now. And so that's basically one thing that we're thinking about, like how the proactivity, how the personalization make a big impact when it's combined with actions. So like what will this kind of proactive actions look like? And that's something that we think is going to become like really very organized with. And there's a lot of things about trust, like the trust the proactive agent and connected to our personal data. And then figuring that out is like also like very, very interesting.
Very cool. Let's go to you. Are there any questions from the audience, from founders, from users of these incredible products for these folks?
Yeah, I've got one. And I'm quite curious how Div's and Wang's perspective will change on this. But you've probably noticed that kind of demoing to your potential customers 3 months ago, it was pretty easy to blow everyone's mind. And kind of there's a hedonistic treadmill going on where people are just generally tools and the expectations are far higher. How do you go about demoing today and like show what has been the most impressive functionality you've been able to show today? And do you have something that you're working towards that would be kind of like the mother of all demos for you in the future?
I mean, we release new products essentially on a weekly basis. So we would demo. So it comes down to context, right? Like, if initially we would want to understand their business context, like what do they need, what are they thinking, why do they need this? Is this pressure from the boardroom, or it's their employees they're trying to push it, for IT kind of approval or whatnot, right? It always goes that. From a product standpoint, I mean, we just keep pushing on new things and then keep demoing new things. I don't know though if there is a kind of mother of all demos in a way, because exactly to your point, things are highly passive. There's a lot of noise, and we're following the model that there's no moat. There's no moat. You just have to keep going.
Yeah, like this being the mother of all
Yeah, I'll say at this point, just sharing demo is not enough because like it's very easy to build things. So we're also moving towards like maybe something that's like more live. Like can be like a live money access or like export that we take. So it's just not like recording, it's not actual things that they tangible and physical, it's like doing things. And like showing the experience of like this actually going to make a big difference for you. Let's see, coming to mother of all demos. I'll say one thing I'm showing you here that is very impressive is like, so we have agents that control anything on an Android phone. So that could like control any local app, you can like make any change to a settings, and can back up for you to whatever you want. You can ask you to go and watch Netflix if you wanted it. and so we think that's a very interesting paradigm. Like if we now have this agent running on any operating system, eventually you can imagine this running on like smart devices, which could be like smart TVs or smart fridges or whatever other smart things you're buying. And that starts becoming very powerful. Like now you have agents that are on the operating system level that you can talk with. And that's becomes like a new way of interaction.
Very cool. Any more questions? And yeah, could you please give me your name real quick? Sort of one line here.
Hi, yes. I have a semantic question. On the first slide about AGI house, actually, it was and the words there was agent payments. I'm curious about like the word agent versus agentic. Recently, Stripe announced, or with OpenAI announced like agentic commerce, but he did talk about agentic organizations. So I kind of see like some, I don't know, maybe noise, like using word agentic towards the noun, like which is a company or payments. What is your definition of like, your thoughts on that?
So, I'll say there's not too much difference between agent and agentic. It's more or less it's the similar thing. One way we are doing something that's different is like when we say agent payments in our case, we are not using APIs. So it's our agent that's entering a human. So it's like it's connecting to the browser, as a human would go and view, and then you can go to a merchant website, say, for example, let's say like a DoorDash, for example. And then you can fill out the forms, choose the items you want, put it in your cart, check out. And so it's basically doing what a human would do. And we do this without any merchant. And so that's actually very powerful. Like imagine you have any like online like shopping you're doing on like say Lululemon or Nordstrom or any of that. Now this agent can go and operate like merchant websites as you are. And that becomes like a new thing, right? Like you don't have to go and do these things yourself. Because like if I can ask an agent and they can do it for me, there's no reason for me to go and do it myself. And that is something that we're excited about. But when you doing this, there's like everything around what like what if it goes wrong, or if there's like someone tries to like inject a wrong vulnerability or something on the website and steal your money, or like there's a Bitcoin wallet scams that used to happen a lot. And so you guys like you want to make sure the agent doesn't do anything irresponsible with your money, and that's something that you need to really think about.
Next level prompt injections there. Final question from the audience.
Hi there. So I was curious, like, have you all seen people facing like the trust issues, and how are you planning to build trust in this like payments with the web browser, and when people are doing all these payments before?
Sure. So it's the best way to think about trust. It's like a ladder. You like, for example, it's like suppose you meet someone new. Like if there's things where you don't trust them, but before that they might contains like a friend, maybe a best friend. So you have some trust and like things you are really reveal and you access to. You need to learn. So this is kind of a thing where it's almost like you start with like things that are like low risk, and like ask the agent what to do this for you. Okay, you can go and read my emails or some nice things, or like do something that like is not risky. Especially if you so like doing something and like now you want to like estimate that trust. That's like now I can go and maybe manage some of my money where like, I will give you like access to a virtual credit card which has like $1,000. Can you make purchases for me? And can you buy food and lunch and so on? And you're like, okay, like, this is doing great. And you're like, now I want to go and give access to $8 and like now I can do a lot more things for me. So it's kind of like a level of trust. And like it's easy to lose trust, it's hard to build. So even if the agent does one thing wrong, you're like, oh, it's like now something went wrong, I don't know if I have the interest system anymore. So it's very, very easy to lose trust, but like, it takes a lot of time and consistency to build it.
Very nice. So, time for our closing statements, I guess. In Silicon Valley, we have this idea that we're building these companies, and sure, we're making money, but at the end of the day, we're here to change the world. And I think that that's just been very true for OpenAI, for Android, for Facebook, for a lot of these companies. For better, for worse, the world does change as a function of what we do. And so I would love to hear as a closing statement from both of you, starting with Gwen. How will Genspark change the world?
As I mentioned earlier, we do what we do because we want more freedom for everybody. My hope is, with the good work that we do, each of us would feel like we have a lot more optionality, freedom to choose if we wanted to do more and accomplish more, or we could choose the way back, with the support of AI. For the same amount of work, for the same amount of business results we're going to get. We just want to make everybody's life a lot easier. If I elevate this a little bit, same thing. I wanted everybody to feel like Jamie when you work. Like Jensen said, when I work, I don't feel like working. I feel like dreaming. Why? Because I use my creativity, I use my strategic thinking. I don't feel like I'm just working hard. We want that for everybody.
did, how AGI Inc. changed the world.
Yeah, well, again, how can we enable humans to be as creative as possible? So if you think about it, there's this like a class of creative, like people who are like, say, like world class authors, for example, like J.K. Rowling or like Christopher Nolan, directors and so on. So there's like this kind of like people who are just like expressing their creative passion and often like very, very far-seeing things. And that's possible, but it's possible to be like 1% of humans even less. And we want to make sure like how can humans reach that level? Maybe like there will be many more Christopher Nolans in the world, there will be many more J.K. Rowlings. That's because now people are able to harness their creativity. And they're not bottlenecked by just the amount of things they have to get that day. I think that is going to be interesting, right? Like right now, the bottleneck is just like how much task can you process. But if that gets, like if somebody say that it becomes like 100 times more, like you just go and do 100 times more things, then the only limit is your imagination. And if you're very, very imaginative, you're like, oh, I just want to go and do skill things. I think a lot more will be possible.
Fantastic. Let's stand and give a warm, rousing round of applause. Thank you, thank you. This has been the first AGI event. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We're going to spend some time with each other. So we can hang out, make some friends, get some contacts, figure out how to build the next world-changing company. So enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Appreciate you. Okay, well, feel free to very sent to the others, and we have some pizza and other food left, so welcome.
Hey, Steve. Yeah. Hey.
How's that?
Great.
Yeah, can do.